Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. So today we'll see one more problem in dynamic programming in algorithms concept, that is longest common subsequence among two strings. Longest common subsequence. Right? So we'll see what is exactly about this longest common subsequence, and then we'll solve a problem. Okay, so the first and important point we have to know is there is a difference between a substring and a subsequence. Okay, so subsequence is different from substring. Okay, so most of the people will confuse about this substring and subsequence. For example, let us take AB, CB as string 1 and some random numbers, string 2. So let us take these two strings. Okay, two strings. So here, first, what is a subsequence and what is a substring? You can see, let us take some A, B, right? So we are having in both the strings we are having the A and B, right? So A, B we can call it as a substring, okay? A, B we can call it as a substring, common substring in both the strings. And if you observe here, then how it differs from subsequence. So sequence means order in which we are arranging the alphabets or characters or numbers or anything, right? Elements. In general, we can call it as elements. So arranging the elements in an order, right? So sequence. So we need to find whether there is a sequence or not. Okay. First, let us take A. Okay. So A, B. In this, we can see the particular sequence. That means A should appear first and next B should appear. Okay. So in between, there can be any number of elements. No problem. Okay. That means there should not be a consecutive. There may not be a consecutive. Okay. So in between the alphabets or in between the elements, there can be anything. But only one thing we have to check. The first A should appear and then B should appear. That means before B, A should appear. So here A we are having and then B. AB. Okay. AB is one subsequence. And what about C? ABC. A, B, C. And here we are having A, B, and after that we are not having C. In the second string we are having a C and after that we are getting A and B. So we can't tell that A, B, C as a subsequence. Okay. And see, let us start with the B. So B afterwards C. You can observe here. B afterwards C. Yes. So that will be a subsequence. And B, C, and again we are having a B. So here also we can observe B, C, again we are having B. Okay. B, C, again we are having B. So there is a sequence. So even though in between B, C, B we are having some more elements, right? That doesn't bother about that, right? Subsequence means you have to follow the sequence whether the elements are following the sequence in the second string or not. So B, C, B, yes. And if you start with the C, so C followed by B, you can observe C is here and followed by B. Okay, B appears after C. Yes, correct. So CB. CB is one more sequence. Next, CB and there are no other elements, right? Next, last one is a B. So here the last one is a B. You need not write that. So these are the common subsequences. You can see. So first one A, B. So B should appear after A. So here also B is appearing after A. Here also B is appearing after A. B, C before B, right? C before B, right? B, C, B, yes. Next, C, B. If you take a randomly, take this one, A, B, C, B. So A should appear, yes, we got it. Next B should appear, yes, we got it. Next C, so there is no string, right? So in the second string, C is appearing before A and B. So A, B, C, B is not a subsequence, only this one. And among this one, the longest common subsequence. So this is the longest common subsequence because it is having some 3 elements. So I am generally writing it as elements. You can consider it as a characters or numbers. Okay, right. So how to find all these things? How to find all these things? So just we have to remember 2 formulas. And first of all, we need to draw a matrix. Matrix means rows and columns. So towards the rows we have to write down one string. Towards the columns we have to write down another string. So that we'll get some matrix, 2 by 2 matrix. Okay. See. First, what is the length of this string? You can consider the same string. So length is 4, and here the length of this one will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the matrix, we have to draw the matrix with 4 by 5. So you can draw either 4 by 5 or 5 by 4. So you can go with a 4 by 5 or a 5 by 4. So if you go with a 4 by 5, so number of rows will be string 1, number of columns will be string 2, and here also number of rows will be string 2, number of columns will be string 1. Okay, so like this we have to first draw the matrix. Okay, right. First we'll draw the matrix. Right. See, I'll write here. So A, B, C and B. And here I'll write B, D, C, A and B. So first design a matrix, a table, and then we'll start the procedure. We'll see your formulas and then we'll start the procedure how we can find out the longest common subsequence. Right. So you can observe here. So extra we have written 1 column and 1 row. You can observe here, right? So this is again separate column and separate row. Right? So initially fill all these first row and first columns with zeros. First rows and first column with zeros. And towards this one it is string 1, and towards this one it is string 2. Right? Now let us see, the index is I and here the index is J. Okay, how can we represent this particular box? So corresponding rows and corresponding columns. Okay, so this particular portion we can represent with corresponding rows and corresponding columns. So for everything we will get some I value and J value. Consider it as an index. Okay, simply you can consider it as an index. So I, J can represent the corresponding column. Now what are the 2 formulas we have to remember? So I'll write the formulas here. If okay, so So consider S as a string. Okay. So S of I is equal to S of J. Consider any string. So this is a string or a character, whatever it may be. So S means this one, A. Here S means this one. So S of I is equal to S of J. Then what we have to do? So we have to add with LCS. So this is usually called it as a LCS. So longest common subsequence, LCS. LCS of string of I minus 1 J minus 1. So we need to find out, or we need to add one number to this particular box. So this particular column, okay, this particular cell. So 1 plus LCS of S of I minus 1 J minus 1. Similarly, the next part, if S of I not equal to S of J, what we have to do? So we have to select a maximum value among LCS of S of I minus 1 J or S of I J minus 1. Okay, I J minus 1. For example, let us consider 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. And here 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4. For example, consider. So if you want to fill this particular position, so here just remember two things. Means 0, 0 means ith row, jth column. 1, 0, first row, 0th column. Okay, and this one 2, 2, second row, second column. Okay, second row, second column. So we are starting from 0, and initial first row and first column, just avoid it. Okay, starting from this one. So 0, 1, 2, so second row, 0, 1, 2, so second column, right? So let us assume that, and we will see this formula. 1 plus LCS of S of, for example, if you consider 11, here S of I is equal to S of J. Okay, so S of I is equal to S of J. S of 1 is equal to S of 1. What we have to do? If both are equal, we need to add 1 plus LCS of S of I minus 1. I minus 1 means S of 0, J minus 1, 0. So if you want to, if the elements are equal, S of I and J, both the elements are equal, that means these characters, okay, these characters are equal, then we have to add 1 to this particular element. So S of 0, 0, 0, 0 means this one. So diagonal. Okay, we have to add to the diagonal. For example, if it is not equal, then what we have to do? So we have to go with this one. So LCS of, maximum of, if both are not equal, for example, let us take S of 2 and S of 2. Consider this one. Okay, now what happens? We need to take maximum of LCS of I minus 1, 2 minus 1, 1, J, 2, or LCS of I, 2, J minus 1, 1. So we need to consider 1, 2 and 2, 1. So 1, 2 and 2, 1. So we are checking about this particular cell, and if both the elements are not equal, okay, if both the elements are not equal, so for example, consider this one, S1 is equal to S2, okay. So if both the elements are not equal, then we have to check the maximum of either previous row or previous column. So the same thing, see, 1, 2, 2, 1. So 1, 2 means this one, 2, 1 means this one. So we need to remember these two formula. and we have to fill out all the table. So just for reference, I have written the indexes. Okay, so usually we should not write the indexes. We have to fix the values. So all positions initially 0. So that's why we have added a first row and first column with zeros. Okay, now we have to traverse. We have to traverse. So how? See, A and B. Okay, A and B. Here I'll write the strings 1 so that we can erase the portion. So string 2 is B, D, C, A and B. So I'll erase this one so that there will be no confusion, and we can simply use about, right? So string 2. See, this one is string 2 and we are representing it as J. Okay, so now we can observe A and B. Okay, we are comparing the elements A and B. So that is nothing but S of I comma is equal to S of J. So A, B, both are equal or unequal? Obviously these two are unequal. So if these two are unequal, what we have to do? So we have to add one, sorry, if both are not equal, then we have to do maximum of LCS of I minus 1 J, I and J minus 1. So obviously we have to select either portions. Okay, either portions. So either portions means we have to select the maximum of either this portion or this portion. So diagonal. So both are equal. Okay, both are equal. What we have to do? So we can take any of these things. So let us take this one and let us assume we have taken from this particular cell. Okay, we have taken this particular cell. So give an arrow mark through which direction, through which cell we have taken. And next, A and D. A and D. Compare A and D. Here also not equal. Then we have to apply the second formula so that these two positions will get. So among these two, which is the maximum? Both are equal. So you can select either. So I will select from this cell itself. Again, I am selecting only this one. So I am writing this arrow mark. Else, if you consider here, from here, you have to write the arrow mark in this way, because we are considering this 0 from this particular cell. Okay, so anything we can do, no problem. So I will select from here, and A and C, again both are not equal. So then again compare and select the either. So again I will take 0 and both are equal from this cell. Now A and A both are equal. So if both are equal, we have to add to S of I minus 1 J minus 1. So what we have to add from here, diagonally we have add. So here 0, it becomes 1 and the arrow mark should be in a diagonal position. Okay. So 1, and in this way we have taken 1. Now A and B both are not equal. So we have to compare and we have to take the maximum of diagonal. So here we are having 1, here we are having 0. So a maximum of 1 comma 0. So obviously we have to consider 1. So I consider 1 and that is from this cell. Okay, so hope you understood. Very simple. So just applying these two formulas. Now coming to this one, B and B both are equal. So in the diagonal, so we have to add 1 to I minus 1 J minus 1. So this one. So this becomes 1 and we have taken this from diagonally. And next, B and D both are unequal. So if it is unequal, we have to consider a maximum among these two cells, I minus 1 J, I J minus 1. So these two cells. So it is 1 and I have taken from this cell. Okay, coming to B and C, both are unequal. Again, in the diagonal 0 and 1, we have to consider 1 and I have taken from this cell. And again, B and A, both are unequal. So diagonally, here we are having 1 and here we are having a 1. So both are equal, we can consider anything, right? So I'll consider here 1 and I'll consider from this cell itself. You can also consider, you just try at home by considering this one. Okay, no problem. Now B and B, so both are equal. Then we have to add 1 to the I minus 1 and j minus 1. So here 1 it is there, now it becomes 2 and I have taken from this particular diagonal position. Next, C, B, both are not equal. So I have to consider either from 0 or 1. So diagonal, we have to consider the maximum. And 1 is a maximum. I'll take 1 and from this cell. So arrow mark will be towards upward. So C and D, both are unequal. Both are 1s. So same thing. And we can consider any value, right? Any cell. Next, C and C, both are equal. Now we have to update. That means we have to increment by 1 of this particular diagonal element. So it becomes 2 and here we have considered like this. Okay. Next, C and A, both are unequal. So 1 and 2 are there diagonally. So we can consider the maximum. So I'll consider 2 and this is from this cell. And C and B, both are unequal. So here in the diagonal, both are having the same value. So you can consider anything and use an arrow mark. Now B and B, both are equal. So increment the diagonal element 0. So 0 will become 1 and arrow mark will be like this. And B and D, both are unequal. Right? B and D, both are unequal. So among these diagonal, we have to consider 1 and I am considering from this cell. And B and C, both are unequal. So 1 and 2 are the diagonal elements. So 2 will be the maximum. I am considering this way. And B and A, both are unequal. So both are unequal means again we have to consider the maximum among the diagonal 2 and 2. So both are equal. So I will consider the same thing. So I will consider from this one. Okay. So B and B both are equal. So increment the diagonal element. So 2 and it will be 3 and in the diagonal. So now we have filled the complete table based upon, with the help of these two formulae. Okay, both the elements are equal, then increment the diagonal element with 1. And if both the elements are not equal, so select the maximum value among the just previous row or a previous column. So now what is the maximum value? 3. And starting from 3, follow the arrow marks. If there is a diagonal, write down the element there. If it is a diagonal, write down the element. So important, right? Point. If there is only a diagonal, then only we have to write down the element. And that element should be written from right to left. So here we are having a diagonal, right? So this 3 we got from this particular cell. Okay, this 3 we got from this particular cell. So what we have to do? We have to select the element B. Okay, now we are at 2. There is no diagonal, so we should not consider it. So from 2, the arrow mark is this one. That means we got 2 from this particular cell. So consider now this cell. Okay, this cell. So here we are having a diagonal. So we got this 2 from this particular diagonal element. So what is the value? C. So write down here C. Now we are at this position. Here the arrow mark is not diagonal. So we got this value from this particular cell. So moving towards this one. Right? So here again we are having some diagonal. That means we got this with this one. Okay, B. So write down here B. Now we are at this position and here the weight is 0. So the longest common sequence is BCD. Just now we have seen the longest common subsequence. So just following the same way. Okay, right? So in this way we can solve the longest common subsequence. So just we have to iterate both the I value and j value. Right? So this is also a recursive function. From the previous cell we are using the value. So we are updating 2 from this particular cell. That means the result of this cell is already been saved. And from here we are updating here. And from this cell we are updating into 3. Alright. So hope you understood this one. So the longest common subsequence among these two strings. Longest common subsequence is BCB. Among these two substrings. Among these two substrings, it is BCB. Okay. So you can consider any two substrings and try out this particular method, so that definitely you will get the longest common subsequence. And we can get a multiple long common subsequences also. Okay. If it is having a multiple paths, automatically we can get a multiple common subsequences. So in our next session, we will see such type of strings which can lead to multiple longest common subsequences. I'll tell you an example in our next session. So today we'll close it. So hope you understood, and if you are having any doubts regarding this procedure, feel free to post your doubts in the comment section. Definitely I'll try to clarify all your doubts. And if you really enjoyed my session, like my session, share my session with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.